Now, I've made the case before that Gaston is really the hero of the story. In fact, I argued that a number of Disney villains were really the heroes. It was a joke. I meant it as a joke at the time. But Disney is doing all this unironically. It's been hard to miss the ongoing effort to rewrite America's history, to cast the United States as a kind of international supervillain. Just a couple weeks ago, we spent the better part of an hour dissecting the 25,000-hour documentary from Ken Burns about the Revolutionary War, which told a flagrant lie, either explicitly or by implication, every 10 minutes or so throughout the course of the very long documentary. And the point—
Yeah, and he probably does have an agenda, and Ken Burns holds no credibility or weight with me because of what he did with the Central Park Five, which is part of the reason he got famous. Like, the guy is a propagandist, he has an agenda, and he's just a liar. Like, I mean, he's an unethical piece of shit.
One of the documentary, of course, was to convince young people, many of whom will be forced to watch the film in public school, that—
You see this Jordan Peterson thing down here? I saw a post from his daughter. Apparently he's like doing really bad. And he's in and out of a hospital and something going on with his brain. Like, he's not doing good at all.
America is a terrible country founded by racist misogynists who stole all their ideas from the Indians. As it turns out, according to Ken Burns, the Indians were philosophers on the level of Plato or Aristotle. You see, when they weren't busy converting human beings into stew or arranging beads into flamboyant patterns because they were too primitive to come up with a written language, the Indians were basically giving Ben Franklin all of his ideas.
Well, I mean, they did invent basketball. We added something to it. We changed it from human heads being tossed through a hoop to, a ball. So that was an improvement, I think.
Under the table. Now, correcting the historical record with our own projects on the scale of Ken Burns' work could not be any more urgent, which is why very soon I intend to do that. But in order to understand the extent of the propaganda we're up against, it's important to recognize that leftists are not simply rewriting history.
Mm-hmm.
They're also attempting to rewrite some of the most classic expressions of American culture, including films and books that are widely read by children. In particular, there's been a very well-coordinated, well-funded effort to propagandize children into believing that evil does not exist, and that any individual who seems to be evil is, in fact, a very misunderstood victim of circumstance. And
okay, hold on. This is interesting. So I like that he's going on this topic. This is a new topic, basically, but there is some nuance here to discuss. First of all, when he brings up the word evil, I am a little bit taken aback because he's a religious guy, and he's saying evil. Religious people think of evil as an actual thing. It's sort of the counterpoint to having Jesus is you need Satan. You need darkness to have light. You need bad to have good. And so it's part of their binary sort of I am on a hero's journey thing, and I need villains. And so the need for villains and the casting of villains and the vilifying of people who shouldn't be villains, that is an incredibly interesting phenomenon. It is quintessentially important to every story. So Game of Thrones, without the White Walkers or without all the various evil people in that story, there's many of them, which made that a more interesting enterprise. No Voldemort, no Darth Vader, these aren't stories. Okay, all these Gen Z freaks, there's a girl in a Starbucks with a nose ring who is a bisexual in Dublin who thinks that Israel is satanic and thinks that they're evil and thinks there's a genocide. Because in her world, that makes her the good person for going against that. Now, if you stop me at any point and go, but Devon, that isn't true. Like, Darth Vader doesn't exist. It isn't a genocide. It's like, that is beside the point. Okay, we are so far past it has to be true for me to give it value. That ain't how religious people operate. I got news for you. Okay, so we are in LARP land, LARPtopia, and these people are just off, up and away on their own little fantasy. They're their own screenwriter. They've cast themselves as the main character, and they need a bad guy because it's like if you sit down at a poker table, you don't know who the sucker is, you're the sucker. If you're living your life, you don't know who the villain is, you might be the villain. So better to point a finger, there's the villain. Okay, now I can juxtapose myself in relation to that villain. Whether or not he's a villain, totally different topic.
Illustrate what I'm talking about. I want you to listen to this musical number from the 1961 Disney film 101 Dalmatians. And it's sung by Roger, the character, about the villain of the story, who of course is Cruella de Vil, sung much to the delight of a family's pet Dalmatian Pongo. And see what you notice about the lyrics. It's not very subtle. Listen.
Okay, and this is a great example because I'm not familiar. I haven't watched 101 Dalmatians since, it came out. Well, I saw it in the 80s. Don't worry about it. The point is, I haven't seen the remake, but I know they did do a Cruella movie, at least one, about it, and so I'm completely ignorant to what they did in that update.
That's it.
Cruella de Vil, Cruella de Vil. If she doesn't scare you, no evil thing will.
Oh,
to
Roger.
see her is to take a sudden chill.
Oh.
Cruella, Cruella. She's like a spider waiting for the kill.
Roger,
Look
she'll
out
hear
for
you.
Cruella de Vil. At first you think Cruella is a devil.
It's great animation, by the way. I mean, as a fan and student of animation, this holds up, and they put in a lot of work on this.
But after time has worn away the shock, you come to realize you've seen her kind of eyes watching you from underneath a rock.
You're no help,
This
Rod.
vampire bat, this inhuman beast, she ought to be locked up and never released.
I want green socks. Oh, why am I not being gifted green socks?
The world was such a wholesome place until Cruella, Cruella de Vil.
If you're watching the video podcast, the first thing that probably jumped out at you is...
Hold on. Is that there weren't female black people as the protagonists of the story? Or there were, two white people were just unabashedly being white?
the quality of the animation.
Well, yes, that was the first thing I noticed, yes.
This was clearly put together, drawn by artists who cared about what they were creating. And that's why it holds up more than 60 years later. And it's very clearly superior to the CGI slop, and now the AI slop, that we've all grown accustomed to. And it certainly looks a lot better than the modern remake of this same story, which we'll get to in a second. But the more important part for now, the point that I want to make, is about the lyrics. And he says, quote, "If she doesn't scare you, no evil thing will. To see her is to take a sudden chill." Then he compares Cruella de Vil to vermin, says she's an inhuman beast who, quote, "ought to be locked up and never released." Now, nothing in the film ever contradicts these statements. They're obviously true. Cruella de Vil is a genuinely horrible person. In the story, her goal is to steal puppies and murder them. It's hard to get, doesn't get much worse than that.
Yeah. Wasn't it? I mean, it was pretty dark. I mean, she wants to kill the dogs. And for what, though? Like, she had a fur coat, or were they making dog fashion products? Like, I forget the reason behind it, but I remember having like this malevolent PTSD memory of this woman is trying to kill the freaking cute Dalmatians. And, you know, I was discussing this the other day, talking about witches, and the idea that why do we demonize witches, and what are witches in our storytelling? They're typically like an old woman, so well beyond childbearing years, who lives alone. Like, a witch never has a husband. Like, no husband could ever deal with this witch/bitch. So, and also they never seem to have children or grandchildren. Like, a witch is not just a witch part-time and then she's also like a doting grandmother. She's basically an outcast of society. So the evil that we stack upon her might be just us, you know, labeling her as someone of no value, someone to be brushed aside. You know, it's kind of vaguely misogynistic, as in we celebrate young, and that's why all the princesses and the heroines of our story are all like young, about to be childbearing, sort of, oh, this is valuable. We like the pretty young thing. And then it's like, who's this old bitch? There was a scene from a TV show. What was it? VP? No, Veep. Yeah, the show Veep. And the guy fires a dude and he goes, wait, why are you firing me? And he goes, well, you're about as useful to me as a 40-year-old woman. And like, that was the joke. I mean, it was just like, damn. But because for this, CEO prick, he's like, what am I going to do with a 40-year-old woman? Like, if I can't mate with her, so then what? I just have to put up with her? Like, what is the upside of this? Now, it's obviously over the top, hyperbolic, edgy, dark, fucked up, but I mean, whatever degree or sliver of truth is in that is the funny part about it. But these witches are an interesting breed of character because, Cruella de Vil, does she have a husband? No. Does she have children? I don't know. I don't think so. Why does she want to kill dogs?
It can get worse, but not much worse. And in her first appearance in Roger's home, she puts out a cigarette in his wife's muffins, which, to be clear, is not a euphemism. It's like actual muffins. She flicks her cigarette over the coffee. She openly mocks Roger and his home. Watch.
Matt Walsh recently watched 101 Dalmatians. I mean, it tracks. He has kids.
Sweet, simple Anita. I know. This horrid little house is your dream castle. And poor Roger is your bold and fearless Sir Galahad.
And what's crazy is this is almost literally the same villain from how Stella got her groove back. The Emperor's New Groove. The Disney film that came out after Hunchback. It was a great character. I think they modeled it after this famous black woman, sort of a movie TV star from back in the day. But I think, was it the original Catwoman? I don't know, my brain's going all over the place. But who is Cruella? How is she different than the woman from that Incan movie, Emperor's New Groove? It's basically the same character. So the difference with this character is that she cares about her looks. She does her hair up. She's got a coat on. She's kind of socialite, and she's out and about, so she's not some like hideaway.
Oh, Cruella.
And then, of course, you have your little spotted friends. Yes. Yes, I must say, such perfectly beautiful coats.
Won't you have some tea, Cruella?
Now, I've got to run, darling. Now, let me know when the puppies arrive. You will, won't you, dear?
Yes, Cruella.
Now, don't forget, it's a promise. See you in 3 weeks. Cheerio. Cheerio, darling.
Now, at no point in this scene or in the entire film does Cruella de Vil display a hint of humanity, so for any child watching this, the lesson is unmistakable. Disney is telling its young audience that evil exists, and that some people are so evil that they belong in prison for the rest of their lives. You should not interact with them. You should avoid them, and if you do come in contact with them, they'll try to take advantage of you. They'll hurt you. They'll destroy everything you care about. They'll defile your baked goods. They'll walk around your house like, Hillary Clinton from that meme that we've all seen. It's the one where she's in that house in East Harlem, visibly shocked that it's not up to her standards.
I have not seen that meme, but how random to get a Hillary Clinton meme wedged into this storytelling, but okay.
They will make their contempt for you as clear as they possibly can. These evil people have no redeeming qualities. They're just a negative for you and for society at large.
Now, I don't know where he's going with this. First of all, that scene does not establish Cruella as any of what he just described, but also this level of binary thinking of like, you are evil and irredeemable it's simpler, it's easier, and perhaps there are people like that in the world. There obviously are, but the problem is the gray zone. It's that there are people who exhibit bad qualities, make bad decisions, are terrible in certain ways or in certain actions of theirs, but they're not unhuman. They're very much part of our society. And so to just label them as evil is sort of a sloppy and silly way to even approach it. Also, it doesn't get to the core of why they are how they are. And I'm not excusing any of it. I am as hardline as it gets on if you do something, you touch a Dalmatian, off with your head. It's, so I'm not trying to excuse it away, but I don't know where he's going with, let's put a stamp on people. You're evil. Boom. Matt Walsh said so. Okay.
Now, Disney didn't dilute this message in any way because in 1961, nobody was worried about being called a racist for teaching basic fundamental life lessons to children. And religion was much more important to most Americans than it is today. A Christian nation is capable of recognizing.
Hold on. There was no Christian symbolism or anything in that Disney movie. Now, if you want to talk about Narnia, okay. We got a lion, and it's written by a Christian, and even Alice in Wonderland that dude's a massive Christian. And, okay, the lion comes back to life, and he's Jesus, and whatever. 101 Dalmatians? Can Christians please stop claiming that they are the moral ones? I was just watching Tucker Carlson talking to Matt Walsh, actually. And Matt Walsh brought up the fact... I almost died. Matt Walsh brought up the fact that I'm not going to backstab my friends. So, somebody was saying, will you please condemn whoever, some guy on the conservative side of things who other people are tar and feathering, and they're like, can you please join in? And he's like, no. And he's like, even if my friend did something wrong, I'm not going to go into the public square and take a tomato and throw it at him because he's in the stockade. And why? For my own social benefit, so that the mob doesn't come after me. I'm not about that, because I have loyalty to my friend, and I recognize, okay, he made a mistake, but he's my friend. I'm not going to freaking throw him under the bus, which is commendable, and I agree with it. He brought up an example, and he said, if my brother were to be a serial killer, if I found out my brother was a serial killer, and Tucker jumped in and said, oh, like in his goofy, manic, little man, fat, whatever way, he comes in and he's like, oh, I would get him a passport and help him, escape the country, escape accountability for murdering multiple people. Now, this guy is a fundamentalist Christian nutjob, Tucker. So apparently he's, got the inside scoop on what is good and what is moral, and he is willing to give his brother a pass from serial murder. I'm sorry. And Matt Walsh, to his credit, is like, no, the point is, as much as I would like to help my brother, I'm going to turn him in for being a serial killer. But I'm not going to, publicly go on a shame tour where I'm going to, virtue signal about how my brother's bad because he's a killer. I think that was the point he was making. But, the fact that Tucker immediately was like, let me help my serial killer brother escape. And he goes to sleep at night thinking, Jesus loves me because I'm a Christian. It's like, you people do not have a monopoly on goodness. You are not good because you're a deluded Christian idiot. Okay, you're not going to live forever and there's no God. So let's just assume that that's true. You don't have the final say on who is good and on what is good. Okay, and a lot of you are not good. Okay, so let's please point that out. Oh, by the way, when I say a lot of you are not good, including Yahweh and Jesus. Okay, so what he did to that fig tree for not being in season, not cool. There's a lot of criticism to have towards the Bible, the writers of the Bible, your pretend God, you. Okay, you're not above us. You have no authority here. So please give it a frigging rest.
Everyone has such a low opinion of traders.
Yes.
Traders are below
exactly
dirt in terms of how we rank them. Now, disagreement, on the other hand, is not betrayal. And you can obviously disagree with someone who's a friend. And if you have a friend who demands that you never disagree with them, well, that's not really a friend.
No.
And the relationship you have with them is one of, it's not a friend relationship.
It's a master-slave relationship.
Right, it's a subservient relationship.
Exactly.
And as men, we should not be in those kinds of relationships either. So you'd certainly disagree with someone. And so I'm not talking about that, and that's important, because even what I'm saying right now, I know that Twitter's going to have fun with it, and they're going to say, oh, is you saying you can never disagree with a friend? Of course you can disagree with a friend. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what I have personally experienced. Like if I look in my mentions or email or even people I talk to, of saying denounce, condemn, disavow. Okay, that is very specifically, that's what I've heard. And that is the thing that I cannot ever do. And maybe I have a more extreme view of that than most people. I mean,
no, you don't. You have the most basic human view. Like, what world are we in?
Well, because someone asked me once, they said, we were talking about this, and they said, okay, what if someone you're really close with, your brother, what if he murders someone? What if he becomes an axe murderer?
Yeah.
Well, then you would
disavow him and condemn him, wouldn't you?
No, I'd get him a fake passport. I mean, it's my brother.
Yeah, if my brother was a serial killer and had 40 bodies in his basement, I would not get on camera and disavow or condemn him.
Recognizing that some people will receive eternal damnation because they're evil. They don't deserve any of our sympathy. But the modern remake of this film, called Cruella, delivered a very different message. It was released back in 2021. It completely rewrites the character of Cruella de Vil to make her the hero. And it begins with this origin story, in which Cruella's mother is killed by Dalmatians right in front of her.
Oh, really? Okay, well, that is interesting. I mean, this whole thing is fascinating, actually. But, part of the reason is because, let it be said, movies they have no new ideas. They have rehashed every intellectual property they could have dragged out from yesteryear. Why? Because it has name value, because people have nostalgia. So they bring out 101 Dalmatians. Most of the people were in it for not really the main characters. You put a gun to my head, I couldn't name the father and mother in that scene. Not to mention any of the Dalmatians. Pongo, did he say? Okay, I totally forgot that. But the villain, I can remember the villain's name. I mean, so the villains tend to be the most interesting characters. And so to do a spin-off about a villain is a tempting thing. He's claiming it's to humanize the villain and to eradicate the idea that there's evil in the world, which is okay. He's on a little Christian mission here to make a point, which I'm going to hear him out because he's a smart guy. But it's also just to make money. So spinning off and doing a Boba Fett show, which they have done, The Mandalorian. They also did Boba Fett. Mandalorian is not Boba Fett, but okay, whatever. They're both. We're going too deep into the lore. The point is, he is an evil character that they humanized and made interesting and human by doing a whole series about the guy. And why? Because people know Boba Fett and they think he's cool. The same way Nick Fuentes thinks Hitler is cool, I think Boba Fett is cool. But Boba Fett kills people. Yeah. Okay, so I think, Harrison Ford killed people as Indiana Jones. I think he's cool.
While she looks on in horror. This is one of the worst scenes I've ever had to look at in terms of just the quality. And now I'm going to make you endure it as well. This is completely real. This is like the actual movie. Watch.
To witness the rest of this video, sign up at censored.tv. Be sure to use the coupon code ROOM to get 20% off. Or you can head over to subscribestar.com/atheism and join up to receive every full-length new video Devon makes. It barely costs anything to sign up. You know he deserves your support, and you deserve to be entertained by every new video AIU creates. So become a flying monkey and let's go.